Welcome back to our fall semester. As we've told you in previous videos and training sessions about Ultra, one of the big advantages is that it's constantly getting updates, and there have been quite a few over the summer. So we'd like to do this quick video to cover what's changed. So there are a bunch of new things that are available and changes to tools in Ultra. We have course message replies are now going to go to your email instead of to me. There's a new content creation interface that we'll show you. There's been some changes to assignments, some minor changes to the gradebook, a big update to release conditions, and we now have access to the Ally tool, which will give you some accessibility tools. So the first major change from over the summer is that course message replies now go directly to you instead of to Academic Technologies. So before, when you would send a course message to students, if they clicked reply on the email instead of going into Blackboard and replying from there, Academic Technologies would receive that email and we'd have to forward it on to you. Now, that's not the case. Your email will be in the reply to field of the email, and the students will be able to reply directly to you, and those replies will come to your email. So this allows you to email your class with the course messages, and as such, we no longer discourage you from using course messages. One of the biggest new items that you'll notice is a brand new revamp of the Ultra documents. And if you remember, Ultra documents are kind of the replacement for items in original courses. So let's take a look. We've got our document right here. And you'll notice it's a completely new way of looking at it. So we still give it a name up here. But instead of just having a bunch of items here, we actually have different content block types. The only ones you want to use are the content, file upload, or convert a file box. So content is pretty much the same kind of thing as it was before. Gives you the text editor where you can add all the stuff in. One thing that has changed is these blocks don't have to go across the entire screen horizontally. You can actually make them go into various columns. So if you wanted maybe a picture over here on the right and text over here on the left explaining it, that's something you could do as well. So to make new stuff, you can hit this plus sign and it'll bring up the different kinds of blocks. So we can maybe put our file in here. And again, that's not a change to anything. We just have our different things. And we can again resize our blocks and move them around. Put the text next to the picture there. And not much has changed on that. Okay, so within an Ultra doc, that's really the main change. However, there's a brand new feature that can only be done on a brand new Ultra document. And that actually allows you to start your Ultra document with a Word file or PDF or other text file. So you do that by creating a new one, and you hit this Convert a File button. So we're going to find our document here. These are just some simple ones I'm using for something else. Double click, and in a second, it will convert to an Ultra document that you can then edit directly here in Ultra. So there's been some changes to assignments on Scholar, and this is the first phase of a larger project that they're doing to separate out assignments and tests, kind of like it was in original courses, if you remember that. So assignments and tests are now different things. So if it is something where students turn in a file, that's an assignment. If it's something where students complete a bunch of questions, that's a test. So basically the same way that we did it on original. There's also now a new instructions field on the assignments tool that will display to students before they officially start an attempt. So it won't be in save draft status if they've just looked at the instructions for the assignment and not actually done anything with it. All right, let's take a quick look at the assignments tool. So I do want to show you the assignments really quick. Just when you come in here to create one and go to assignment, you'll notice now there's no ability to add questions in. You just have this instructions area where you can come in here and have the full text editor. And then if we come into the settings, you'll notice that a lot of the options that involved questions and proctoring and things like that have gone. So what this means to you is that if you have questions and it looks like a test, you have to call it a test on Blackboard. You have to go into test. Now you can still put it in any grade category and call it anything you want. It's just going back to the same way they did in original where we separated out assignments and tests as different things. Like I said, there's a couple of minor changes to the gradebook. You might not even notice them. So the first is they've simplified the top up here where you used to have a toggle between the grid view and list view and then the sub tabs underneath. Now it's just 3 tabs. So the tabs are gradable items and students, which were the old list view tabs. And then we have a new tab here that's the grades tab. And the grades tab is the old grid view, or what you'd expect if you were using original courses. The other change is actually while you're grading things, you will now notice that we have previous student and next student arrow buttons, so you can just page through your students more easily. And those are really all the changes to the gradebook over the summer. So another major change over the summer is how the release conditions work. It brings it more in line to how they work on original courses. So we come down here and we'll click on release conditions. And before, you could only set up one rule. So we could set it up so that, only a certain group of people were able to access the thing at a certain date and time. But if we had another group of people that were supposed to access this item at a different time, we couldn't do that. So now they've actually changed that. So I'm not going to go into a lot of detail in this video on exactly how you set up release conditions because the individual rules have not changed. So I can set it up so that FDI 15 can access it from August 7th to August 8th. And then if I click Save down here at the bottom right, that rule has been created. But you see now, I have 2 options that I didn't have before. One, I can name this rule by clicking on the little Edit button. I can also add a new rule. So I have section 1 here where they can access it on the 7th to the 8th. I'm going to add a new rule. And this is going to be called section 2. It's going to be more students and they can access it 9th until the 10th. So within a rule, all the criteria must be met. So you have to be either FDI 16, FDI 17. If you are one of those, you can access it from the 9th until the 10th. Both of those criteria have to be met. But only one rule has to be met. So this FDI 15 can access it on the 7th to the 8th, and these other 2 students can access it from the 9th to the 10th. If you want to delete one of these rules, you messed it up and you need to start over, you can click the 3 dots up here next to the name and choose delete. And as you saw, if we want to edit the rule, we need to change it. You just click on it on the left and you can edit it right here. And when you make any edits, you have to come down here to the bottom right corner and click Save. If it's blurred out, that either means there's not been any edits or you've set it up in a way that doesn't allow it to work. So it won't let you save it unless it can actually work. So the last tool I'm actually not going to demo in this video because we'll have a full-length video talking about how it works, but it's the Ally tool, which gives you accessibility tools. There's two major ones that you'll notice. The first is that students will be able to download any files that you've uploaded in alternate formats. So screen reader compatible formats or EPUB format if they want to put it on a Kindle or something while they read it. The other thing they can do is if they need audio and don't have a screen reading tool that they have, they can download an audio version of the file. There's a few others. The nice thing about it is you don't need to do anything special to allow students to do this. It's just there and available for them. Another thing is it provides some tools to help you make your content more accessible to students that are blind or colorblind or have devices that won't display pictures properly. And that is an accessibility report that you can get for your content. Now, I want to let you know students don't see this report, so you don't have to worry about that. This is just for your use to allow you to better serve your students. Once again, we're not going to do a demo here, but we'll have a separate video on Allied that will show you how it works. So Ultra is constantly being updated, and I'm sure we'll have another one of these videos shortly. So what can you do if you need more information on any of these things? You can attend a training session and check your email for the schedule for those sessions. And really watch your email for additional information because that's the primary way that we'll communicate new features to you as we go. You can also check out our help articles at help.cnu.edu. And if you have any questions, you can email us at scholarsupport@cnu.edu. Thanks for watching and have a great semester.